Welcome to the Jedi Ranger. I'm John Berry 555, and in this video I would like to talk about the art and the sound design and the music of Star Wars Maul Shadow Lord. So throughout my reviews of the individual episodes, I think I alluded to the fact that I think the artwork, the music of Star Wars Maul Shadow Lord is amazing, and I want to further elaborate on that. So, Maul Shadow Lord, in case you can't tell from the images I've been sharing, has this watercolor aesthetic to it, which I think does a really great job of conveying almost the chaotic nature that is being shown in the animation. One thing I heard, I don't know if it's true, though I think it is that what they did for certain scenes is that they made watercolors. They did paintings, like some of the backgrounds supposed actual matte paintings that they scanned in and then put the animation on top of. Now for the lightsabers, they basically painted a lightsaber image and then scanned it in and used that as a basis, as a still image to make their animation from. And other things like that. But they kind of not washed out implies faded, dull, but washed out in the sense of the colors blending together, of non-crisp edges, is amazing. Oftentimes in animation, you will see crisp edges, clear delineation until you get weird in-betweens. So that's not as common nowadays as it was like back in the 1960s with Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? But even today, you look at a lot of animation, crisp lines. Even look at Star Wars animation. Look at Rebels, look at Resistance, look at the Clone Wars. Crisp, clear lines. You don't get too much colors blend together between assets and such. You can clearly see what things are, and there's no fuzziness about it. No subjectivity, if you will. Star Wars Visions started breaking that mold, I would say. And that was because of how it was set up to be experimental, to tell stories that are not necessarily canon, to give, especially in Volume 1, Japanese animation studios a chance to work on Star Wars. Here in Maul Shadow Lord, it's taken that idea like, hey, not everything needs to be crisp and clear. Brought that idea that we saw explode in Visions, even though not everything was like that, because it was multiple people doing multiple independent stories. But here, they brought the idea, fuzziness, ill-defined lines, to create this beautiful atmosphere that I think very well conveys the chaotic nature that the galaxy is in. And the sound design only helps cement it. Honestly, they do use Duel of the Fates for Darth Maul. And honestly, yes, even though it is also associated with the fate of Anakin Skywalker, it is also Maul's song. He is the character who was that fate, who was deciding the fate. So in a way, he has as much ownership of Duel of the Fates as Anakin does, as what that story conveys. But they use other music, new music, that calls back to other things in Star Wars to create this beautiful atmosphere. In Chapter 10 for the Star Wars Maul Shadow Lord logo, they really don't do intros. I wish they would. That's something I've always disliked about the Star Wars animation. It's been a thing for quite some time, but you have the Star Wars Maul Shadow Lord theme, for that better term, playing, and then it transitions, it gets louder into the Duel of the Fates theme, which makes sense. Maul's actions in Episode 1 directly link to him having to face Vader in Chapter 10 of Maul Shadow Lord, and the music help convey that. And there's so much more about the sound design. The background sound used for Janix, both in establishing shots where it's, the fuzzy animation, watercolors blending together, but also in, the street scenes. Like, there's so much amazing sound design. Like, to talk about each individual one would be nearly impossible because there's so much good sound design. But that sound design, that visual, the animation, the way they decided to do the animation, not to be clear cut, to add a fuzzy edge to it that gives the lightsabers a sense of danger, a sense of fire, was really well done and helped convey, like I said, that chaotic nature that this era of the galaxy is in. It really can't be stated that this is probably one of the most beautifully animated Star Wars shows ever. Visions probably still takes the cake just because they get to experience so many different designs. But without a doubt, if you ignore Visions, this is the most beautiful animation we have ever had in Star Wars. But you do have to ignore Visions for that. So any serialized Star Wars show, so that's how we exclude Visions. Man, the first animated show, Star Wars Droid Ewoks, that's like Scooby-Doo in terms of animation quality. You can still have fun, but it just does not hold the same care. Really, care. I bet, I don't know how much Maul Shadow cost, but I guarantee you it was not cheap, because it shows that in the animation. And, well, I don't mind them trying to save some money. I also really appreciate the care, the detail that they put into the animation, the backgrounds, and everything about the visual and sound language of Maul Shadow Lord. So that's what I got to say about the art, the sound design, and the music of Maul Shadow Lord. There's more we can talk about that, so you can let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And stay tuned for next week, where I'll be combining all my reviews for Star Wars Maul Shadow Lord together, plus some new content for one big, massive review. So stay tuned for that. Thank you for watching my video. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please be sure to give this video a like and share. Also, consider subscribing to my channel to stay up to date on all my latest content. In the meantime, thank you for watching, and as always, have a good day, a good night, wherever you are. May the Force be with you, always.